Hey everyone, it's Types, and today I'm taking a look at even more Pokemon DCG deck lists that are, yet again, still post-rotation in Japan's format containing Chaos Rising, or containing Ninja Spinner, I guess, which is the Japanese expansion which makes up the bulk of Chaos Rising. And this set is kind of cool. There's some cool new cards, and I actually, yesterday, at the time of recording this, presumably yesterday at the time of releasing this, I should say, I made a video talking about decks from this set, and I talked about some different ones and some really cool ones, and check that out if you haven't. And of course, I will continue to talk about the set as time goes on as well, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. Also, it just helps support me. But in terms of that, I found some cool decks, but I'm really surprised to say that a lot of the decks that I covered in that video and in past videos I haven't talked about, or I talked about that the ones here are not the ones I've talked about. So we're going to be taking a look at some really interesting decks here. The first one is, this is on Pokemon Book, a website that is Japanese. It's been translated, but automatically. Some of the Pokemon names might be wrong. This one's like pretty much right. And this is Mega Charizard X EX, which, even though it is a bit of like a silly name, that's correct. But anyways, this is a Braixen list as well. Mega Charizard X EX, if you're not familiar, discards Fire Energy from your board. And then Braixen, if you're not familiar, which is not, or so. It's a Delphox list. I keep thinking Braixen. Braixen's gotten a shocking amount of good cards compared to Delphox, which has gotten like some like okay cards. But anyways, Delphox here does 30 damage for each fire energy attached to all or 2 fire, it does 30 damage for each energy attached to all Pokemon in play. They don't need to be fire energy on your board. They will be fire energies. But with Delphox, this does damage based on the energy on your board and your opponent's board. So again, certain decks, I guess like Grass, this will just like obliterate Grass. But then your ability here lets you discard a fire from your hand to draw until you have 7 cards in hand. It's like kind of cool, I guess. I don't think Delphox is good. Personally, I've gotten comments that people think it is really good. I think it's a fun card, I suppose, but I just don't quite believe in it. But you do have the Mega Charizard line here, or I guess Mega Charizard X EX. There's a Y as well, which is not in. We got 2 lists here. It's not in either of these lists. They are Delphox. I don't know Focus, but they run Delphox here. It's an important part of the deck, so I'm interested in seeing how Mega Charizard will fare post-rotation. These all won gym battle tournaments, which are like relatively small local tournaments in Japan, or I believe all the lists here did. I guess we'll see if that's the case, but these first few certainly have. And yeah, you have Delphox, which can do pretty big damage. Mega Charizard X EX is doing a lot more, but it is a 3-prize stage 2, right? So the bar for that's going to be a lot higher. And so Delphox is kind of cool here. Oricorio EX accelerates to, I believe it's only bench fire. Yeah, bench fire Pokemon, and you can use this ability as often as you like, but only if you have a Fire Mega in play. There are currently only Evolution Fire Megas, definitely holding this card back some. Oricorio EX has seen some play within Charizard EX, but just a little. It only works with Mega Charizard EX, or if you're playing Charizard, it only works if you're playing the Mega, and then you're going to need the Mega in play, and then you can use Oricorio EX, so it's kind of clunky there, but definitely can be really powerful. Also, it does discard the energy, so we see it running the new special energy here, which is, what's it called, like Burn Fire? No, what is it? Nitro Fire. That's actually like a sick name, but, or in my opinion, it's pretty cool, but it provides fire energy. It is not a basic fire energy, so you cannot accelerate it with Oricorio EX, and has some downsides there. But other than that, it does have an upside if it was discarded if it's attached to a fire Pokemon and discarded by the attack, or the effect of the attack that Pokemon, then it goes back to your hand. I don't think this card is very good at all. I'm not going to lie. It seems very bad, but it is in this list, or it seems very situational, and when it's useful, it seems very mediocre, which in general makes it very bad in my opinion. In this deck, I guess I could see you running a copy of it. The one list doesn't even run a copy of it, so it is kind of meh there. Also, we do see special red card, which if you're not familiar with this card, you will be post-rotation, or once it comes out more in what's the set? Ninja Spinner / Chaos Rising. Chaos Rising is, if you're not familiar, the international set. Not sure if I said that already this video, but special red card, you can only use if your opponent has 3 or fewer prizes remaining. Then your opponent shuffles their hand, puts it on the bottom, then draws 3. So a decent disruptive item, generally the best card from this set. You could say there are potentially better cards that are more deck specific. Maybe. I don't know. There probably aren't, to be honest. But it is also very versatile as well. But then we have the next list here, pretty similar. I'm not really going to talk about it too much, but we do have another list here. Then we have Mega Dragonite. This is cool. Actually, this is not a new deck, but we got Mega Dragonite. Not exactly sure why this is here. These aren't like all the winners, presumably. Oh, wow, that's a lot of energy. We'll get to that in a second. That's not a new deck, but yeah, Mega Dragonite EX here, allowing you to. I can't concentrate. I can't believe there's a deck with 40 energy right below us. But anyways, yeah, you got Mega Dragonite, which can like switch and do some decent damage. It's a cool deck, but it's expensive on a stage 2, or it's like expensive in general. It's on a stage 2. It's on a 3 prizer. These are all bad, so yes, it can one-shot like everything, and it has some cool abilities and stuff, but I don't think it's a super good card. I think it's bad. I think it's essentially, I've said this a bunch of times, objectively worse than Mega Electric EX, which you could pair with Electric, and Mega Electros EX as well. I will say I think Mega Electros EX is okay. I think it's potentially worth playing within an Electric deck. Electric's a pretty good card, accelerating Lightning Energy from your discard to your bench Pokemon. Does not need to be Lightning Energy, or no, sorry, does not need to be Lightning Pokemon. Does need to be Lightning Energy and Basic as well, when we presumably and inevitably get the special energy for lightning, which I'm very excited for. Also, tell me in the comment section if you want me to do a video going over special energies and the cycle. Currently, we've seen 6 of the somewhere between 8 and 10. So that will be interesting to see how that develops. But tell me in the comment section if you are interested in that video. I'd love to hear that. I'm thinking of making it. I kind of want to make it now, talking about older ones, then we'll make one once they're fully revealed. But anyways, this it does not do that, right? It doesn't accelerate the special energies, but it is a good card. Does not need to go to lightning Pokemon, so it can go to the Dragonite line there, which is very important. And there's also Rayquaza. I don't actually remember what Rayquaza does. I've not played with this card, I don't think. It's from Ascended Heroes. If it moves on the bench, active does 110. And yeah, definitely a card. Yeah, I was gonna say a good card or a cool card. I don't know if it actually is any of those things, but it is. It's okay, right? It's fine. Then we see, you got multiple evolution lines in Very Candy and no like fast evolution, so it's a little slow. We do see Badoo to slow your opponent down. Don't know exactly how far that'll get you, but definitely a kind of fun deck if you played it. It plays exactly how it looks. Unless you think it looks super good. If it doesn't play super good, I played this deck a very similar list and it felt not super good, but it does do something. Also, let me check something. What's the basic of this called? It's Dratini. There we go. Okay, yeah. So all the 70 HP Dratinis are also rotating, which is bad because you can't put anybody popping for it. I looked there and I was like, that doesn't seem good for you. So that's another downside there, but you'll figure it out, or like you won't probably figure it out. Let's be honest, but it's a deck here. It's kind of cool. Tell me in the comment section, I guess, if you play this deck. I'd love to hear it. If anyone's actually gotten it to work and played it like a lot, and done anything special, or just like gotten lucky. I suppose that's cool to hear as well. Then we have the next deck here. Speaking of getting lucky, playing 40 energies. That's like absurd. This deck is not just a one-line deck, which like most decks are 3 lines. This contains 6 different cards in the deck. That's absurd. It's got 4 copies of 5 cards and 40 copies of 1 card, which is the basic energy. It's Mega Bomb Snow. You discard energies from the top of your deck, do damage based on it. We see decks like this from time to time with a ton of energy. Sometimes they're okay. String 4 copies of Larry's Skill. Larry's Skill, what, like discards your hand and also searches for a supporter, a Pokemon, and an energy. Yeah, and a basic energy specifically. This card, I played a little. I'd also love to hear if people have played this card. Lead Froslass and Okey-Dokey. That definitely seems not super good, but anyways, I could see it in Ceruledge or a deck that actually wants to discard, but yeah, it's a card here. Looking at Limitless, it's been played with Lugia, which like kind of makes sense, and also you could search it out. I guess I will mention you can search this card out post rotation with Meowth EX when that comes out, which it is out. It's not in this deck because it's only running 1 evolution line. But it could be something. But anyways, it does some stuff. Ultimately, I guess discarding your hand isn't that. Wait, I just realized it runs 4 Dawn. That's kind of crazy. It doesn't even run stage 2s. So yeah, that's something there, which just gets the evolution line, which is something. I guess there's not a card that does that better, but it sure doesn't seem great. Then with Layer Scale, you can get a supporter for your next turn to keep you going, the energy and the Pokemon, one Pokemon there, right? So it's like, it's okay. It's not super good. It's kind of bad, but you don't have that many good cards in your hand, so it's fine, I guess. And I guess you know what you're drawing, presumably like an energy every turn. So not necessarily every turn, but 2/3 of the time you're going to draw an energy. So that's a lot. Definitely something here. Definitely not good, right? Let's be honest. This deck is very bad, but it seems really funny. And yeah, maybe I'll try it. Probably not, because there's not too much to this deck. There's very little to this deck, but it is something. And we got hit again. This is Doublade. This has been mistranslated. I don't even know if this Pokemon is this supposed to be Doublade, or is this supposed to be like a different Pokemon in the deck? I don't know, but it's Doublade with Metang. Oh, and no ignition energy. That's pretty interesting. No ignition in Doublade. I haven't really looked at Doublade lists much. I played it in the pre-release, or no, didn't play it in the pre-release. I played against it in the pre-release, and it's kind of, I think it's a decent deck. Oh, okay. Not many people have played it. Not shocking. This list running 4 Mist, 4 Ignition. This list here running Ignition and some basics to Crispin. This list here, I guess the ones with Metagross are running Metang. So there are some running Metang. Other ones running Metang, running Ignition. Wait, that's not Metang. Oh, this is not Metang either. Okay, I talked about this in my last video where Metang, or like Metagross, obviously is a deck with Metagross, but this is Steven's Metagross EX, not this deck, which also plays a Metagross, which is this Metagross, the top of the Metang line, because there's a new Metagross from Chaos Rising that's like a fine card. So anyways, they're both classified as Metagross decks, and it's annoying because the decks are kind of similar in how they play. And clearly I got it wrong, so it can clearly be a little misleading. But anyways, Metang here is interesting, allowing you to accelerate. It's also not consistent, also a deck where you want a lot of energy. Obviously, we don't see 40 energy, we see 15. But it is a card here that is kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. It's another card that I don't play too much because it's inconsistent. But definitely kind of cool. We see Genesect DX being very important, allowing you to grab, obviously, the parts of the Doublade line where you need those to do damage. And then it can also get you your Metangs to actually, hopefully, maybe get your energy there. So kind of cool. You could play like Safe Max Code Breaking if you wanted to, but that probably won't work. Same thing with Academy at Night. So I suppose it will work, but you need to already be set up. And we do see Team Rocket's Petrol as well. Also, the supporter counts are not sorted from high to low for whatever reason, but yeah, we see Team Rocket's Petrol potentially looking for that. Oh, and so 3 copies of Team Rocket's Petrol, 4 copies of Pokegear, and 3 copies of Team Rocket's Transceiver. I actually don't know why there's why you wouldn't drop a copy of Team Rocket's Transceiver for a Team Rocket's Petrol, because you could get Badooed. So I personally feel like that would be better. I suppose it allows it to thin more. I don't know. If anyone knows in the comments, tell me that. That'd be really useful. But yeah, this is going towards a turn 1 Precious Trolley, which is something I don't like to do. Well, I guess I do if I pull it off, but I don't like to play decks with it because I usually just miss it for whatever reason. I just tend not to draw it. But yeah, you can go for that, which is interesting to see Team Rocket's Petrol replacing Arven, which I've talked about, but we do see it very clearly in this list here. I've got Mega Froslass EX. This is just Mega Froslass. And yeah, it's running Lucian as well. That's really cool, allowing you to do big damage by increasing your opponent's hand size or by decreasing their hand size, doing less damage, but you're also hitting them with disruption. So kind of cool there. Outside of that, the deck is pretty one-dimensional and kind of boring, in my opinion. Oh, but you can go turn 1 second, going second, which I think is the idea here. Salvatore, if you're not familiar, Salvatore essentially lets you instantly evolve for a Pokemon, or I suppose into a Pokemon without an ability, and you search your deck for it. So that's how that works. We also see 4 copies of Wise Compassion. Okay. Also, does anyone know why the supporters are in this order? Is this alphabetical in Japanese? I assumed it was high to low counts, like oh, wait, no, this isn't high to low counts. I think this one is, and this one, yeah, this one also is. Maybe it's just how people choose to put it in. I don't know. But we see that it's running, healing and like going fast, just kind of leaning in. I suppose if you get one shot a lot, you're just going to lose. And metal is up a little as well. I will say I made a whole video talking about metal a bunch, though metal isn't like amazing, but it's okay. I should say up from immediately after rotation, or up from like the post-rotation format, the perfect order format, not up from current standard internationally with Goldengo. Goldengo is better than the other post-rotation decks. But anyways, if you get hit by those, that's bad. Like if you get hit by Doublade, you presumably lose. And if you get hit by anything one-shotting, you presumably lose. But you can go super aggressive, super fun here. Pretty straightforward, but kind of cool. We got Festival, or no, we got we have, I saw Festival Lead, I suppose you technically have it, but you have the Hydrapple EX here with Teal Zygarde EX. I actually haven't played Hydrapple, or have I played Hydrapple since Force of Vitality has come out? I'm not sure, but it is kind of cool, obviously allowing you to evolve and then do big damage, theoretically. We don't see Meganium here. I was about to say, how do you get the energies on Hydrapple to power it up, but you used Hydrapple, obviously. Also, Legacy Energy seems kind of weird here. I mean, I guess it's okay, but Unfair Stamp is super good, and there's like a variety of pretty decent ace specs. Legacy Energy seems kind of meh, and basic energies seem important for like the whole deck, right? It allows you to do damage. I'm pretty sure or allows you to accelerate and then do damage. I'm pretty sure Hydrapple will increase its damage with Legacy. I'm gonna quickly check on that with Hydrapple there. Yes, use Grass Energy attached to all your Pokemon. So Legacy Energy, when it on your board, is a Grass Energy, so it will work, but it's not gonna work with the abilities on the Pokemon there. So definitely a kind of cool deck. Again, relatively linear, but kind of fun there. Then we got, this is a deck I've talked about some, that's Okey-Dokey with Barbaracle. Barbaracle accelerates fighting energy. This is from Perfect Order. Then you use Okey-Dokey. Okey-Dokey does decent damage, I guess, with fighting and a darkness, or I guess 2 fighting and a darkness, but you can pay one of the fightings as well as the darkness with a prism energy or legacy energy here, and then you can accelerate the one with Barbaracle. But you could also accelerate 2 with the Barbaracle and then attach the third one. Also, Tarragon, super good here, I think. Also runs Blood Marceluna, runs some different things as well, like Monkey Dory. Monkey Dory seems not super good in this deck, to be honest. I mean, not bad. I'd probably include it as a one of. Monkey Dory is definitely a card I'm thinking about post rotation, because also, what is this, like, EN? Is that capital INEINU? What even is that? I guess that's Okey-Dokey, but with Monkey Dory, you're not going to get that much damage on your board. I mean, if you're playing Blood Luna, as in like the deck, Blood Luna very focused on that, then Monkey Dory is super good. Or theoretically, it's quite good. You're going to get a bunch of damage counters on your own board, presumably using Risky Ruin. So that's a thing that is worth mentioning, but that's not what you're doing here, right? In fact, you're playing Battle Cage to counter the stuff that Monkey Dory is also countering, and you're not necessarily having that many extra energy attachments. You might have some, but not too many, and I think with those, you're kind of looking to use those on maybe like another Okey-Dokey or like Moltres or whatever. So I don't really love it here, and you're not, super vulnerable to spread damage. You're a little vulnerable because you're playing some single prizers, but you're not playing super weak, squishy Pokemon in terms of single prizers, right? Unlike something like, say, even like Dreepy or Duskull or something like that. And then on top of that, you're also not playing super tanky Pokemon. They're, somewhere in the middle. Okey-Dokey can get up to, and will presumably be at 230 HP, so it might survive a hit, but it's not surviving 2. And so healing isn't very useful. You probably won't even have damage counters on your board. I mean, you might, I'm not sure, but it's kind of back here. So definitely wanted to talk about that there. But that deck's also really cool. I do enjoy Okey-Dokey. I made a video talking about it, and I'd recommend checking that one out if you want a little more info there, because fighting, or I guess I made a video about fighting and about Okey-Dokey as well, and I think fighting has amazing tools. I think Barbaracle is another really nice tool. I think it's on a similar caliber to Electric, which is a good card. Ultimately, I think neither of them have super powerful partners, but are pretty good cards there, and fighting has so many more good cards around it as well. You got Fighting Gong, you got Lunatone, which we see in this list here. And then you also have something like Tarragon, which is pretty decent. You have Premium Power Pro, which is super good, and things like that. We got Mega Star and Mega Froslass. Not really going to talk about this deck here because there's not really much to say about it. I mean, there is stuff to say about it, but I've talked about it before as well, a bunch. And I'm actually very excited. This is probably the deck I'm most excited to play with from Perfect Order. If anyone has any other suggestions, tell me those down below in the comment section. I actually really am looking for deck suggestions. I'm super excited for Perfect Order with rotation. In terms of actual new decks that don't have that many, I'm super stoked for. Then we got Mega Electros with Ampharos here. Ampharos is definitely a card that more or less hasn't really been on my radar because, where is it? It's up here because it's not very good. Synchronized Pulse says, I guess it's been on my radar a little because it is a matching hand size attacker. Then you do 80 more, so you're doing 220 for 2 on a stage 2, which is like something. I don't know. It's not very good, right? Let's be honest. It's not super good. Zero Aura does, I think it does like essentially the same amount. I think it does 10 less. on a basic there. It is, or oh no, yeah, it does 210. Only to a benched EX, which admittedly is kind of awkward. We're talking about Pokemon like the Ogerpons and stuff, which you can't snipe, but it is pretty good there. It is an extra energy as well there, and has less HP, but it is, I think, a pretty decent card. It does not have free retreat, unfortunately, but it is quite good. We also see like Stunfisk, which I keep looking at the Stunfisk art and keep thinking it has an ancient trait because that's like kind of what they look like, with the thing at the top there. And then, we got it's called Mega Electros. It's just a one of with, electric. It's kind of electric boxy. Obviously, this Ampharos would be better if it, the Flappy that was also like Electros. I suppose this card in GLC is probably kind of good. The current Ampharoses, I don't really, play GLC very much, but you have what Ampharos is played? Is it like this one? Maybe this one isn't probably doing more damage. I'm again not super familiar with GLC. There's even this one. I suppose I could look, but I'm not going to do that right now. But I guess also tell me if you want more GLC content. But Ampharos, kind of a cool card, not the most powerful, but kind of cool there. Then, we also see, Relicanth? What's the previous evolution here? I wasn't even thinking about that. Wait, this is Item Lock? I didn't even know Flappy had an Item Lock attack. That's actually super sick. You can match hand size with your opponent. I will say, you'll probably need a lot of cards in your hand to match hand size with your opponent because you're going to be item locking them. Disconnect is item lock 40 for 2 here, which is okay. It's not super good. But then you also, if you match hand sizes, you do 80 more. So you're going to be doing 120 and item lock, which is pretty decent. It's kind of like Jellicent EX there. It's not on the ability, which means you need to attack to do it, but your opponent can't break out of it. You also have a bunch of HP here, not as much as Jellicent EX, but you are stage 2. Single pricer though, so that is kind of cool there. Definitely really interesting. Just missed the Relicanth on the first pass there, but definitely a really cool deck idea. I don't think it's very good. What's the basic? I assume that, yeah, it doesn't really do anything particularly impressive, but item lock is kind of cool. I don't know if that's a hot take. Well, okay, I don't know. Item lock's kind of annoying to play against, but doing interesting Relicanth stuff is cool. I don't think that's a hot take. Someone I got a comment recently that was like, Relicanth is cool, and I was like, yeah, Relicanth is so cool, but kind of bad, right? Also, you could just use the stage 1 without using Relicanth, so there's not that much value for Relicanth, though there is some. It's definitely cool. You're tripling your damage potentially. As I said, you do need a large hand. You have Judge in the list. You have special red cards, so I guess the idea is to disrupt them a lot. You could try to get there by also drawing cards, but that's not what's going on here. There is no draw in terms of Pokemon, or there's Tatsugiri, I guess, but that's not really that at all. And then you're going to be disrupting them. I will say, in terms of item lock and disrupting them, they're going to end up with this big hand of cards that they can't play. So in some sense, disruption hitting big hands is good, but also if they can't play those cards, it's not actually that good, and you're just going to be churning them through your deck to get the cards that they eventually need. So disruption in tandem with item lock can be kind of meh. So I will warn about that. I played some Froslass and Okey-Dokey with Badu a lot recently, and that deck I don't play that much hand disruption because, one, Mega Froslass, but two, because your opponent is getting a big hand, but most of the cards in the hand are bad. Of course, you need to shrink their hand for Ampharos here, but hand disruption itself is kind of meh. Then we got Cinccino EX. Okay, not what I was expecting either. This one does damage based on energy or something. Yeah, and then on a coin flip, it's immune to damage. It's a very boring card in my opinion, but it's fine. I think it's an okay-ish card. It's not super good. The damage isn't very good, but the ability could make you invincible all the time, so that's kind of good. We also see Lumiosity. This is from Perfect Order, letting you search for a basic Pokemon, put it onto your bench. So in some sense, it's like Artisan, except it ends your turn, right? So this is a cool card. Definitely one I don't think is super good. I guess I'll look on Limitless here and to see if people are playing it in Japan. I can't imagine playing it that much. Yeah, we see a little bit of play, but it's been out for a decent amount of time, and it's a pretty versatile card as well, so this isn't that much play for a card like this, but definitely an interesting inclusion here. I don't think it's super good in this stack, not really sure what you're looking for off of this, but I guess it is something. I guess it's something more meaningful as well with the loss of Nest Ball, so it'll be harder to find Genesect DX, and I guess to make it Marwell. I mean, yes, it's hard to find Meowth EX, but this won't trigger Meowth EX, so that doesn't seem so good there. Then we got Clawless. We got Avalugg here. Avalugg, what set even is this from? Is this from what's this set called? Ninja Spinner / Chaos Rising. Yes, it is. This is another Pokemon very similar to the Mega Vomisto. Not quite as much energy here. We got 40 in Mega Vomisto. We just got 28 here in the Avalugg deck. This one does 60 for each basic water discarded. It's milling for the top 6 here, and then we also see it's running some trainers to set you up, and it also runs the Kyogre, which recovers the energy and then lets you send it back to your deck and does damage based on it, which is like kind of cool there. Very similar to Abomasnow, but yeah, kind of cool. And you can set up your board using Precious Trolley, which is more important than with Abomasnow, where you're getting knocked out twice and losing. Here you get knocked out 6 times and then you lose. That is how your games will go, probably. You'll get knocked out 6 times and lose. But that's the deck. Or I know, you'll get knocked out like 4 times, as you probably won't set up. Maybe you will, though. I don't know. Then we got the next deck, which is it's Banette. Not Banette EX, that card's rotating, but we got Mega Dynasty EX, Jellicent EX, and Banette. Banette is really interesting with 06 Machinations. 06 Machinations is actually super good with this card, as well as Salazzle, which Salazzle has seen no play, like essentially at all. Let me actually check on Salazzle. Salazzle from Stellar Crown. I'm looking at Japanese, and that doesn't show up. So Stellar Crown / Heroes. This card has seen no play in city leagues in the top 16 or in IRL tournaments in day 2s of majors or whatever. Limitless is like not always super consistent on what it reports. And then looking at Banette isn't the card I personally played with. Or I don't think I have, but your opponent chooses 3 cards from the hand, shuffles those into their deck. Salazzle discards them, but it's 2 energy and it's on stage 1. Or no, it's 2 energy and it's only the turn you play it. They're both stage 1s. But yeah, Banette has also not seen play. It is newer, but this one disrupts your opponent, and with 06 Machinations, you get them down to 3 cards in hand, and then you get rid of the cards that they have left, which is all the cards. You can also do this with Unfair Stamp, but that's a little harder to do. This is really annoying and difficult to deal with, though. We also see 4 Telepath Psychic Energy. Honestly, one of the best uses I've seen of this card, and you have it with Jellicent EX as well to item lock them, so you get rid of their whole hand, and then you item lock them later, and then you also Mega Dynasty to do big damage. Kind of cool here. I don't know if this deck is actually good, but the power of the disruption there can be really nasty and difficult to deal with. Then we got the next deck, which is Mega Slowbro EX. I talked about this yesterday. Oh, now I remember. I forgot at first, but this card is out. I'm not sure when it's coming out internationally, as I've said, but it does 180 for 3. If you're hitting 2, you do 120 again. So kind of cool, or 12 damage carries to be more exact. But yeah, kind of cool there. Is it good? Hey, yeah, probably not, right? It's probably not good. We see Jacinth or whatever, the supporter, letting you heal 150 there, which is also kind of nice. You want to, tank some, and you need to attack, right? This isn't like a Wally's deck where you're just like tanking and tanking and tanking. You need to attack. You can tank some. You're doing pretty big damage, pretty decent damage. Okay, you're doing 180. That's not that much, but when you're hitting 2, that is pretty good damage. If you're against a single prize deck, you can really beat them up there, and yeah, that's kind of cool there. Then we got the next deck here, which is Mega Zygarde with 4 Barbaracle. The attack is like so expensive, the main one, or the big one, Nile Zero, which is the name of the set. But Core Memory, is that the name of the tool? Which I guess might be the main attack. Let's be honest. It does here it is, Core Memory. Oh, Core Memory is the tool, and the attack is Geobuster. It lets Mega Zygarde use this attack, Geobuster, doing 350, discarding all the energy there. It does, big damage when showing pretty much everything, and that's kind of good. You need the tool, and you need the Pokemon, so it's kind of clunky, and you need 4 energy. That's like clunky, and you lose all the energy. It's very clunky, but anyways, if you do all that, you can take a big one-shot. You can also do the first stack on Mega Zygarde, which is like fine, I guess. 230 less damage next turn. Then Mudikis Zero, which does theoretically 150. It's 0 or 150 to each Pokemon you flip. For each of them, you do 150 if it's heads. It's 5 energy. It's super expensive, and it's very bad. I'm not going to lie. It's really funny, but very bad. And yeah, you got, the fighting package as well, which is very, very good there. Here we got Beedrill EX doing damage based on your Beedrill EX in play. Talked about this previously. We got 2 lists. This one with Arboliva, this one without Arboliva, and the deck is fine, I guess. Not too much to say about it. Then we got Slowking, running the new Metagross, which is kind of cool. I've talked about that one as well, actually. But yeah, Slowking's kind of fun. We've got Mega Kangaskhan as the engine, kind of cool. A bit of a liability, I think. But I think I could see this going wrong. But also it works with Cybermax Code Breaking, and I guess not Academy at Night, but it works with Cybermax Code Breaking, which also works with Slowking. As far as I'm aware, this deck doesn't have a... Actually, it does, but only kind of a way to. So if we code breaking, 2 cards on top. The 1 card is the one you want to draw for this turn, and the next card is for Slowking. You could actually do that with Academy at Night, so you could Academy at Night first, and then draw the card you just put back on top, as well as like 1 card with Cybermatic's Code Breaking. You can actually do it second as well, so it doesn't really matter. It's kind of silly and pointless there, but that is something that could be good to do if you could do it, but you can't. So definitely interesting there with Cybermatic's Code Breaking, though, to synergize with both Megakangaskhan County X and Slowking. Then we see he also doesn't have much switch, so using Megakangaskhan EX, I guess you're just using it with Latias, but you will have some liabilities there, like all the liabilities. So we've got Hops Trevenant as the last deck here, or Hops Zacian as the last deck here, I guess as it's named, where you just like do Hop stuff. Hops is, or I'm going to say Hop stuff. I mean Hops, like, 1 energy stuff. It's kind of fun. Like Eudora works, I guess, decently well within the deck. It's pretty easy to power up. You have really low energy cost there. Like, it's free with the tool, so that's pretty cool there. Hops Trevenant does, I think, 210 with all the buffs, if I'm not mistaken, which is like the same damage as like everything else. Let me just double check on that one. Hops Trevenant, is that out? Yeah, I think that was out in what's it? Ascended Heroes. Yeah, that's the set. And yeah, Horrifying Revenge. Oh, it does 130. Yeah, so we'll do 220. I got the numbers wrong. But yeah, essentially they all like do the same amount of damage. Not all the attacks. Most of them are pretty similar, but definitely kind of fun here. I've seen some people talk about it and playing it and stuff. So definitely kind of cool. Not super good, but something there. But anyways, tell me down below in the comment section what your thoughts are on these decks. I talked about a decent amount, but I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell. That stuff really helps support the channel. But I hope you enjoyed. And as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.